What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past few days. We do have a lot of topics to discuss. Firstly, Barcelona's targets for the upcoming transfer windows have been confirmed. We want a pivot, we want an interior, and we do want to sign 2 fullbacks, and we have updates on all those positions. Who are we linked with? Are we gonna bet in-house? What are the priorities, the prices of the priorities, secret clauses for some players exclusively only to Barcelona? We have all the updates from Zubimendi, Kimmich, Dani, Olmo, Florian, Wirtz, Bruno Guimaraes, Juan Miranda, Juan Foyth. They're all there, and we're gonna cover every single bit of news. We have also been linked with some attackers as well, like Nico Williams, Mitoma. We have an update on Joao Felix's permanent transfer as well. Exits Alonso and Sergi Roberto essentially confirmed. Roberto now leaving the club after spending more than 10 years as a blaugrana. Updates on some of the La Masia players and Barca Athletic players breaking into the first team, like Pau Cabrasi, Hector Fort, Alex Xavi, and Julian Araujo's future at Barcelona. Big injury updates on all the injured players: Balde, Rafinha, Koundé, Lewandowski, De Jong, Lamine Yamal, Pedri as well. Update on the Golden Boy Awards and some general updates as well around TV rights, internal income, the friendly match in December as well. So much to talk about, but before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get the 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. And also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into this video is sponsored by Number 1 Foot. Number 1 Foot is one of the best replica football jersey websites on the market right now. They have a variety of different items at absolutely fantastic prices. For me here today, I'm going to show you guys the training kit from this season. This is the warm-up kit that the players use when they go out for training every single day, pre-games as well. You have here the Spotify logo. They have the club badge on it with the diamond as well. And I also have here one of the sweaters they have from last season. This was the Catalunya version. It feels like I bought this from the Nike store directly. The quality is absolutely unreal. The printing is fantastic. And of course, mainly the prices are unbeatable. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get an additional 15% off your final order. That is BOY. Use it at checkout. You get 15% off your order, and all orders above $80 as well will guarantee you free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Click the top link in the description down below and get your new football kits today. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past few days. Now, first, we're going to be discussing what Barcelona's actual plan is in the upcoming transfer windows, as it's now been made clear internally with the board alongside the sports management. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo has come out saying that Barcelona plan to sign 2 fullbacks, a pivot, and an interior next summer. If Cancelo keeps on playing like he is now, he will be bought even if it's more than 20 million euros. Alex Xavi is an option at left back as well. Xavi has given his approval. So we'll discuss all of these in parts on Alex Xavi, on the fullback options, the pivot, and also on the interiors. Now, this is obviously going to be in the summer transfer window, as in January we're just going to bring in Victor Roque, and that's going to be it. Now, of course, we could end up selling players in January to free us spaces to bring more players in, but that's very unlikely. La Vanguardia has come out saying that selling players in January is practically ruled out for Barcelona. Xavi already has a short squad. I think that's the correct decision. Unless an outrageous offer comes in, I would consider selling anyone in January, unless it's a Marcos Alonso. Apart from that, I wouldn't really sell anyone else. So we'll wait and see on that aspect. But let's now discuss those transfer targets, who we've been linked with, and also what are the priorities as well. For the second summer in a row, it is very, very likely that Barcelona's top priority will be again to reinforce the pivot position. Fernando Polo from Deportivo has come out saying that Barcelona's priorities next summer is signing a top defensive midfielder. Now, that does include, of course, the likes of Martin Zubimendi, Joshua Kimmich, again, who is the main target from a player perspective. It is quite unknown. There is the list of the experience, again, Zubimendi, Kimmich, the youngsters, Mascardo, Vermeeren, then the veterans like Jorginho, Thiago Alcantara, Guido Rodriguez. So we do have a decent pool of pivots, your top 10s, things like that. But another name has emerged recently over the past 24 hours. Is he really a pivot? Not really, but he does play there with his current club. I think he's more so in a Barcelona system, an 8, kind of a very similar to a Frankie de Jong where he can play in double pivot, but I wouldn't think he's a single pivot. Anyways, it is Bruno Guimaraes. Now, Tony Juan Martin from Sports come out saying that Bruno Guimaraes has a secret Barcelona clause in his new contract with Newcastle. The figure is stipulated to be around 65 to 70 million euros. Currently, such a deal is very difficult for the club, but he dreams of playing for Barcelona one day. Now, Guimaraes, of course, did renew his contract with Newcastle a few days ago, signing a long-term deal, but he does have a release clause exclusively only to Barcelona for around 70 million euros. I believe Newcastle bought him for around 40 or 50, so small margin of profit for them. Look, I think Bruno Guimaraes is a very good player. I wouldn't say he's definitely not a pivot level Barcelona player. I think right now if we do sign him, I think he would be a decent option off the bench. I think he's very similar to a Franck Kessié profile from last season in the sense that he could have a very good impact off the bench and can start matches. I don't think he's at the Barcelona starting XI level yet. Could definitely get there, but for that price, I'm all over Zubimendi. Again, Zubimendi does have a 60 million euro release clause, and Bruno Guimaraes has a 70. Tony Juan Martin does say it's very difficult for Barcelona to get him for 70. If we're paying, high prices, I think, again, the best option out there is Zubimendi, but we'll wait and see what the club decide. But it's going to become very, very clear and evident that the top priority in the next transfer window will be, of course, the reinforcement of another pivot. Now, along with a pivot, another reinforcement in the midfield that Barcelona tend to execute is, of course, the signing of an interior, which Xavi has been asking for around a few months now. Again, mainly to provide coverage and competition. For Pedri, we have been linked with a few names, first one being Xavi Simons, coming in from Sport. They've come out saying that Barcelona have been attentive to Xavi Simons' situation, who's exploring right now at RB Leipzig, where he plays on loan from PSG. So again, Barcelona keeping tabs on the situation. Again, former La Masia, he knows a lot of the Barcelona players in the first team. He's very close friends with Alejandro Balde. He was in the academy with Xavi, with Fermin Lopez as well. So him adapting would be the easiest transition ever. Again, I think Xavi Simons has done very, very well, especially last season on his loan with PSV. I think if Xavi wants him, then fair enough. But again, he does have that background to him where you don't know he's going to have the right attitude and things like that. What's his real priority? Again, on the football pitch, he's done very well over the past few years. Maybe it's changed, but we'll wait and see. But one of the main big names also sticking, of course, in the Bundesliga has been Florian Wirtz. Now, Bild have come out saying that Barcelona are very interested in signing Florian Wirtz. Mundo Deportivo came out confirming the news, saying that Barcelona is very interested in Florian Wirtz. His initial price, though, is 100 million euros, which makes the deal almost impossible. I think that's where, Dani Olmo comes in. Dani Olmo does have a release clause, 60 million euros. He is 40 million euros cheaper than Wirtz. Is there a 40 million euro difference between the two players? Honestly speaking, I don't think so. I understand Wirtz is younger, he's more explosive. You could argue that he's the better player right now, but Dani Olmo fits the mold, can play in multiple positions. He's from the academy, speaks the language, from the nation. His adaptation will be absolutely flawless. Of course, with Wirtz, we do have some Germans in Ter Stegen and Gundo, but him adapting to the city, the culture, everything like that will be difficult for Wirtz. And of course, you have to consider the price. I remember 2 summers ago when we were linked with Rafinha and Antony, I personally thought that Antony was a better player. But if you told me back then 50 million Rafinha or 90 for Antony, of course I was saying 50 million for Rafinha. I think Antony's a better player, but I don't think there's a 40 million euro pound difference. In the end, Barcelona got it right, so thank God they didn't listen to me. Nonetheless, though, we'll wait and see how things develop. Again, looks like the Lo Celso option now is ruled out, especially because of the fact that he does not want to make a move in January, and Barcelona are keeping tapped on this. I think it's a position that we really need to reinforce. When Pedri goes down, we lack creativity a lot. It should be a good one in those creative positions, but he has to now drop back because we have no coverage in the pivot. So we'll wait and see on what things develop in the interior position. But again, you have the likes of Dani Olmo an option, Florian Wirtz, and even the return of Xavi Simons. Now, with departures expected to be happening in the fullback position, the club, of course, have to reinforce those positions with new arrivals coming in. Despite the fact that we could bet in-house in the fullback position, which we will talk about later on, the club are keeping their tabs on the market. One of the options being Juan Foyth. Sport have come out saying that if Barcelona fails to sign João Cancelo permanently, they will try and sign Juan Foyth. Xavi rates the player very highly. Now, Villarreal are very much in the slump right now in terms of their performances on the pitch. I think Foyth is a great player. I think, again, for that 50-60 million euro price tag is not worth it. Cancelo is better, and Cancelo is cheaper. Can we end up having both of them at the end of the summer? Probably not, but the thing is that Juan Foyth, of course, is miles younger than Cancelo. I believe Foyth is 23, where Cancelo is 29, coming on to 30. So you're gonna pay 30 million to get 2-3 maybe good years left of Cancelo, where if you pay 20 million extra for Foyth, you get a solid 10 years out of him if he performs expectation. But I agree with the decision. I think Cancelo should be bought, and Foyth maybe can move on to him for another time. Another fullback that we have been linked with, a new name has emerged, and it is Ian Maatsen, who of course is the fullback for Chelsea, who apparently Burnley bid around 30 million euros for him after his loan spell last season, and that was rejected by Chelsea. Or I think Chelsea accepted it, but the player rejected the move. One of the two things happened. He bid 30 million, didn't end up going there. Now, Sport have come out saying that Barcelona had very good reports on Ian Maatsen of Chelsea, whose contract runs out in the summer of 2024. So as a free agent, it could be a decent option for Barcelona. Again, I think we're in a moment now where I'd rather bet in-house on Xavi than bring in another fullback who again is going to have to start off fresh, adapt to the city, culture, style, all that sort of stuff. I think this one's a pretty weird report. Again, it is coming from Sport, but it's a good name to be linked with, and I doubt there's nothing materializing in that. But the fullback that we have been heavily linked with over the past few days and does have a very good option to join Barcelona this summer is again another former Barcelona player in Juan Miranda. Now, Mateo Morito from Arriba has come out saying that Barcelona are among the clubs keeping a close eye on Juan Miranda for next summer when he will be a free agent. AC Milan are also preparing an offer for the player as well. Now, here's where the big question comes in. Do you bet on Xavi, or do you bet on someone who's, experienced now and understands the league? He's very well developed in his career in Juan Miranda. I think Juan Miranda would be a great option to bring in. He's a very good fullback. He's of course had four very good years at Betis. We of course sold him to Betis. I don't know. I really do think it's a tough one. I think with him being a free agent is definitely an option on the table for sure. I mean, you pay him, you only pay him his wages, but if you take that in retrospect, Xavi's wages are going to be very, very cheap. I'm not trying to make it out that Xavi is the next best thing since sliced bread, but you have to look at it logistically, right? You already have someone who's very good, who's improving a lot at Levante, can come and take the next step. He won't push Balde too much, but he can provide that coverage and that slight bit of competition. With Miranda, though, he'll be pushing Balde week in, week out. He may even be upset that he's not playing. When Balde goes down, while Miranda starts starting, will it be dropping and changing back and forth? You want to have some sort of consistency. So it's a catch in two. I mean, I would be fine signing Juan Miranda on a free. Again, his wages for me would have to stay under 100,000, but does he want that? I think he's currently earning like 60,000 at Betis. Would he want to, because if he goes to AC Milan, he'll 100% earn more money for sure. He'll be a guaranteed starter there as well. So we'll wait and see with Miranda. I think he's definitely an option. I think right now you could say between Miranda and Xavi to be that backup and coverage and competition for Balde next season. But again, it's a good option on the table, and Barcelona will make the decision to make their move along with Juan Miranda as well, making a decision for the best of his career. Now, despite the fact that reinforcing the attack is not a priority for Barcelona against a pivot, interior, and fullback, Barcelona have been linked with quite a bit of forwards recently, and one of them being is Kaoru Mitoma of Brighton. Of course, spotted on the scene last season and has been doing very, very well. Fernando Polo from Deportivo has come out saying that Kaoru Mitoma is one of the wingers who the Barcelona coaches and several scouts like the most. The coaches consider him very complete, but of course the priority for next summer is to sign a defensive midfielder and other midfielders and potentially a fullback. But Mitoma's contract ends in 2025, and if he does not yet renew by next summer, his situation can be one to watch for the future. So Mitoma could be an option later on. I think Mitoma is doing absolutely fantastically well at Brighton, but again, the adaptation is going to be very key. Will the pressure Barcelona gets him as well? We're going to talk about some other forwards now who are also being linked with Barcelona. I think have a better chance of joining to the club as well. Would Mitoma be on a free deal? I think if it's a free deal, you take the risk, absolutely. You have to negotiate. Of course, Brighton alongside Napoli, Dortmund, and Sociedad are one of the most toughest negotiating clubs in the world. They set a price and they will not budge a single euro from that price. Look how much they sold McAllister for. Look what they sold Caicedo for. They've been there and done it. So we do have a good relationship with them, of course. We did loan them out Ansu Fati. That can help a little bit, but keep your eyes on Mitoma for the future. The coaching staff do really like the Japanese winger. But onto some more realistic targets for the imminent future, one of them being Nico Williams. Now, this report is coming in from a journalist who is very close to Athletic Club and also was the first to report that Inigo Martinez 100% done deal with Barcelona last summer. He's come out saying that there is a total agreement between Barcelona and Nico Williams. It was Matteo Alemann's last piece of work before he left. Williams has no intention to renew his contract and will therefore join Barcelona on a free this summer of 2024, except for a major surprise. Very, very interesting. Look, I think Nico Williams is a brilliant player. I'm actually quite shocked that he could end up leaving Athletic Club, being a Basque boy born and bred. But again, we need more confirmation. This is he does have a good track record. I mean, he got Inigo Martinez right last summer, so maybe same club, same nationality, same destination. You know, keep your eyes on it. I think Nico Williams would be a great signing. It depends on what the club are planning on doing in the winger department. Again, you have Rafinha, you have Ferran Torres, you have Lamine Yamal, and you also have Joao Felix as well. So is Joao Felix now not going to sign? Is Nico going to come in to replace him on a free transfer? Are we going to push out Ferran Torres? What's going to happen with Ansu Fati? A lot of question marks, especially with the amount of wingers that we do have. Again, Nico could be the long-term replacement, you could say, for Ousmane Dembele, who we know left and wasn't replaced. You could say he was replaced by Lamine Yamal. So we'll wait and see. Again, we'll wait for more confirmation from the Barcelona media and also from other journalists like Fabrizio Romano and other mainstream journalists who cover the world of European football. But again, early reports are indicating that Nico Williams has already agreed a contract with Barcelona and will join them in 2024. Now, in terms of more youngsters on the list, Barcelona have been linked with a very young, talented striker, and that is Popovic. He's been doing very, very well in the Serbian league, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been rumored to join Barcelona from Di Marzio, who's come out saying that Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Borussia Dortmund are among the several clubs interested in Belgrade's Matej Popovic. He plays as a second striker and he's 1.96 meters tall. His current contract ends on December 31st of this year. So he's a second striker, so you could say he's a very similar profile to Joao Felix. Again, this will most likely be a Barca Athletic signing on paper, but it's a very, very big talent, so keep your eyes on him joining. But finally, we have to discuss, of course, the main player that could be signed on a permanent transfer for Barcelona, currently in the team, and that is Joao Felix. Now, Frank Sport has come out with the news where we've heard this now for the first time, and he's come out saying that all areas of Barcelona are very much convinced by Joao Felix, and they will do everything possible to extend his stay beyond this season. Again, this is the first time now we're hearing this from the media. The negotiations with Atletico Madrid are never easy though, and let alone next season. By this time, with the buy option is not ruled out. Barcelona will continue to work on a strategy throughout the season to convince Atletico Madrid to keep Joao Felix. What is clear is that Barcelona want to keep him, and the player wants to continue at Barcelona. Felix has come out with some quotes on Portugal national duty saying he wants to stay at Barcelona. He's very happy, typical stuff. From Barcelona, they say, we have the whole season to prepare an offer that allows Joao Felix to stay with us. We're very happy with his performances, and he's a player who is liked a lot in all the areas of the club. So essentially, Barcelona internally have said, we're going to go for Joao Felix this summer. We're going to try our best to keep him. Now, if we're going to keep Joao Felix, what's going to happen with Ansu Fati? Are we actually going to sign Nico Williams? Is Ferran Torres now going to be sold? So many questions are coming up. I think Barcelona do have a bit of a situation in the attack next summer, because you're going to have these abundant amount of great talents in the attack, and you can only really keep four. Because again, Lewandowski, Victor Roque will be the two strikers next season. And then, of course, following summer, you're going to have to replace Lewandowski, maybe a backup. It could be even Popovic if he does well, if he signs for Barca Athletic, hypothetical situations. Nonetheless, you're going to have Ansu Fati, Ferran, Rafinha, Joao Felix. You could even have Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal. Abundance amount of options there. The question is, who will the club prioritize? Who will they keep? And of course, who will they sell? Now, Sport have come out with more news on Joao Felix, saying that Joao Felix's strategy to remain at Barcelona will not change compared to last summer. The Portuguese is clear that he will block all other offers than Barcelona, so that sooner or later Atletico Madrid will have to give in. So again, he'll do the same thing last summer to this summer coming up as well. And more news on his salary from Sport as well, saying that when Joao Felix signed with Barcelona, he accepted to earn 400,000 for the remainder of the season, of course, as his base salary. However, La Liga has counted it as a 4 million salary for his whole entire season on his wage. Again, we've already known this, and the club updated his contract and now paid him the 4 million anyway. So now Joao Felix he's not going to get paid the rightful amount that he should be getting paid. So he'll be paid 4 million the whole entire loan instead of the 400,000. Again, on paper it's 400,000 just for the time being for Barcelona to sort out their economic situation. They have done that now. Since on paper it's already 4 million, they're going to give him the 4 million IRL as well. So Felix will get paid. It's no longer going to be the 4,000 for the whole entire loan. He will get paid the 4 million net. Still very, very cheap for a player like Joao Felix, but nonetheless, he will get his bank, so to speak. He hasn't been performing well, but again, we'll wait and see how things develop in that sense. So Barcelona, a lot of options for the attack for the imminent future, the future of next summer, and also future later down the line. Of course, Matoma, maybe 2025. We have Nico Williams this summer, Joao Felix this summer, Popovic in January, potentially, if we sign for Barca Athletics. So a lot of options there, and of course, that does mean that someone will have to leave in the attack. Let's now discuss the players who have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past few days. First up is player that we talked about already a few seconds ago, and that is Ansu Fati, with sports saying that Barcelona hope that Ansu Fati's price increases so the club can sell him next summer. Honestly, what I think will happen with Ansu Fati is that we're going to swap him with Joao Felix. I think Ansu Fati will end up at Atletico Madrid. We're going to get Joao Felix. We may pay a bit on top of that as well, maybe like 20 million, somewhere in that sense. So as a combined total, we'll probably spend 50 million on Joao Cancelo and Joao Felix, 30 million for Cancelo, 20 for Felix. That's what I think will happen. Look, man, I love Ansu Fati. He was the best thing since Toast back in 2019 and stuff. I fell into the hype. I thought he was going to be an unbelievable player, and he was until that injury against Betis. Since then, he's never been the same. Again, too early to tell. Same thing for Joao Felix's future. Only a month and a half into the season, we've had fucking 2 international breaks, so you can't really judge too much. Ansu Fati could break out with the Brighton. Felix could, flop by the end of the season, or vice versa. Felix can continue, be the best player for Barcelona this season, or Ansu will turn into nothing. But again, the club kind of see the future quite well. They want to bet on Joao Felix and get rid of Ansu Fati. Now, as mentioned already, Barcelona are not planning on any exits in the January transfer window since the squad is already thin, but the only player that we can all agree we will let go in January is Marcos Alonso, who again does not have a future at Barcelona. This summer his contract expires. He will leave as a free agent. The club will not renew his deal whatsoever. But Sport came out saying that Marcos Alonso himself does not consider leaving Barcelona in the January transfer window. So again, unless a really good offer comes in for both Cancelo and Barcelona, very likely he'll end up staying. I think the only way he leaves is if the club will offer Barcelona a free deal and that he gets a big wage. I don't think Barcelona will make any money on Alonso in any way, shape, or form. If someone offers us $1 million or $2 million, you snatch that immediately. I think Marcos Alonso does have a market, especially in Serie A, maybe somewhere mid to lower tables in the Premier League. Again, very versatile player, can do a job at center back, left wing back, of course. So we could see something come in if another team maybe has some injury crisis, but very, very unlikely that he will leave in January unless Barcelona and the player are both convinced. Now, along with Marcos Alonso, another player who will be leaving Barcelona this summer, it is pretty much confirmed at this point. It is the first team captain of the club, Sergi Roberto. He will leave at the end of the season when his contract expires. As you could say, has been the biggest news around Barcelona in the past week, or maybe even during the entirety of the international break. Gabriel Sanz from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Sergi Roberto and Deco had a meeting before the international break to discuss the season and the team. His contract ends in 2024 and Barcelona are not expected to renew it. The player himself is assuming that this is his last season at Barcelona. Then of course the floodgates continue to open. Fernando Polo from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Sergi Roberto is already looking at the United States for next season, aware that he is counted upon little at Barcelona and that his contract ends in June. He's analyzing where to go and is attracted by the USA, especially New York and the MLS. I would love to see him go to Inter Miami. I think if Roberto is smart, he'll go to Inter Miami for a year, link up with Boosie, Jordi, and Messi, and then maybe make that move to New York a year later. Again, he's still very young for someone who's moving to the MLS, 31 years old, so he's still got a lot of time. I'd go rock up with the boys, win a couple trophies, then maybe make that move later on. But the news has been confirmed by Tony Juan Martí, who's come out saying the 23-24 season will be the last for Sergi Roberto, as his contract will not be renewed. MLS and Saudi clubs are seen to be the most favorable destination for the Barcelona captain. So Roberto's done. So that's all the Club of the Amigos gone. That is crazy. And I've been seeing a lot of chat on Twitter about Roberto's legendary stays at Barcelona. I've said this multiple times and I'll say it again. I do not consider Roberto a Barcelona legend. If you think he's a legend, you're absolutely waffling. I think Roberto is a Barcelona icon. I think he's someone who represents the badge on the pitch. Yeah, he's been a very decent squad player for 10 years. Keep in mind, he's never been a starter whatsoever. Even at right back, he had a lot of competition with Alex Vidal during the time when he was kind of starting, Nelson Semedo. So he never really cemented himself as a starter. And keep in mind, guys, if you look at my Twitter back in like 2015, 16, 17, I loved Sergi Roberto. I think he's probably the most versatile, the best player that can play in multiple positions in Barcelona's history. I'll give him that title, but I don't think he's a legend. I think he's an icon. I think he's on the level of, Ivan Rakitic, Neymar, David Villa, Mascherano. I think he's at that level of icons. He's not touching Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Piqué, Puyol, Messi, Suarez, Dino, Eto'o, Dani Alves, Jordi Alba. He's not there. He's part of the, Eric Abidal, Rakitic, Neymar, David Villa category, where he represented Barcelona. He did well at Barcelona for the majority of his time, but he never, I think, cemented the legendary status. Just because he scored the 6-1 against PSG doesn't mean he's a Barcelona legend. We had a lot of, does that mean that Franck Kessié is a legend because he scored a last goal against Real Madrid? Doesn't. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Would you consider Sergi Roberto a Barcelona legend or not? But again, this will most likely be his final season at Barcelona, which does mean at the end of the season he will get a send-off at the Olympic Stadium. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. The only update we do have is a big one, and you could say it's on the renewal of Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, Xavi, and Araujo. We do have the plan that Deco has implemented for the renewal of the first team members. Fernando from Deportivo has come out saying that having tied down Ter Stegen until 2028 and wanting to do the same with Frenkie de Jong, the next one will be Araujo, Xavi, and Pedri. The renewal of those three is not an immediate priority right now, but Deco has in his mind to negotiate with them since he wants to guarantee Barcelona's future beyond 2026 when his contract and Laporte's term does end. They all are considered to be the backbone of the project, and the objective is to advance negotiation throughout the current season. Very, very interesting. I love when Barcelona move quickly on top priorities. I think, again, the best case scenario is Frenkie de Jong renewing his contract before the end of this year. If we can get that done, that would be world class. And you have from January until April, May, June to renew at least one of these three players, maybe advance two of their negotiations. Because again, Roberto's leaving, Alonso's leaving. That's something out the window. And again, there's more players contract that expire in 2026. You have, of course, Lamine Yamal. You have Inaki Peña. I think Fermin Lopez, I think Fermin Lopez is 2028, but there's a lot of contracts that expire in 2026, so the club should be on top of this, and I'm so glad to hear this news. Again, from Frenkie de Jong, Araujo, Pedri, Xavi, 4 players. If we renew 2 of their contracts by the end of this year, or not this year, sorry, the end of the season, that's perfect. I mean, I would bow down to Deco at that point. It's that brilliant. If he gets 3, build him a statue. If he gets 4, build the Spotify Camp Nou, the Deco Camp Nou. That's how good the job will be. Because again, it's not easy to renew these players' contracts. It's very difficult. It takes a long time. These are top players. And again, Laporta, he could say his term ends, but he can't run. We don't know if Laporta's going to run for re-election. We hope he does. But again, you want to have these players tied down. You don't want to have them renewing their contract expiring with during that time when a new president might come in. He might not like the player, or the player might not like his the president, and causes a lot of controversy. So we'll see how things develop. But again, Deco is on top of the renewals of the first team and hopes to complete and advance many renewals by the end of the season. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past few days. Firstly, I want to discuss 4 players that Barcelona have in mind as potential first team members for the imminent future. Firstly, we do have, of course, Alex Vai. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo came out saying that Alex Vai has Xavi's approval. He's very popular at the club and he's being monitored. Marcos Alonso's contract ends, of course, in June, and the idea goes through him leaving at the end of his contract. So right now, you could say Alex Vai is the front runner to become the backup for Balde, but again, Juan Miranda's option is still on the table. I like the Vai option. I think it again depends on what Miranda is asking for. If he's asking for a fairly decent wage, like 80,000, 70,000, I would be in favor of Miranda, again, on a 2-3 year deal. Send out Vai on loan to somewhere in La Liga, in the first division, not the second division. See how he does. If he does well, you can sell Miranda, make a profit, sell him to AC Milan or Inter, maybe another team in La Liga, 5 million, make a profit like he did with Franck Kessié, and then bringing Vai, of course, as a free because he's a player in-house. So keep your eyes on Vai. He's definitely a player, so definitely someone to watch in that left back position. Next up, at right back is, of course, Julian Araujo, with reports coming in saying that Araujo is impressing a lot at Las Palmas, and Barcelona have told him that they're very satisfied with what he's showing. The Mexican is aware that if he continues on this path, he will be part of this Barcelona squad for the 24-25 season. He's absolutely correct. I think if I'm Araujo, I'm thinking, look, Cancelo's probably going to bought permanently. Roberto is getting shipped off. Koundé hates playing at right back. I could be number 2 to Cancelo. Again, Cancelo, he's pushing 30. He'll need to be rested. He might get injured. You know, he has a bit of an attitude problem as well. Let's hope we don't see that at Barcelona. But I'm thinking, look, I got a great chance here. Keep performing well. Las Palmas, again, the Barcelona don't have any money, so they don't really want to invest. Another fullback, they would much rather bet on me. Well, they paid for me already, but I'm free right now for them to put me in compared to going buying a Juan Foyth or someone else. So I think Araujo does have a great chance. So we'll wait and see how things develop and see how his time goes at Las Palmas. But so far, I think he's on the right track to be the backup for Joao Cancelo next season. But now for the more immediate future, of course, Barcelona's international break is coming to an end. We do play, of course, this Sunday against Athletic Club, and we could see a new name in the squad list, and that is Pau Cabrasi. This is coming in from Mundo Deportivo. They've come out saying it cannot be ruled out that Pau Cabrasi, 16 years old, will be the next senior to make his debut for the first team. With Koundé out, Araujo, Christensen, and Inigo Martinez are the only available center backs right now in the first team, and the first two could be fatigued due to wear and tear from the international break. Cabrasi has had some training sessions with the first team. He's traveled to Villarreal and Osasuna but didn't play. Today, he will play for Barca Athletic. Keep in mind as well, of course, you do have the option of Marcos Alonso as a center back, which I think Xavi will deploy ahead of Cabrasi. But again, left back Balde is currently injured, so Alonso's going to have to play there. So Cabrasi does have a few options to start. Of course, a lot of people are going to be calling for Micalfe, but you could say right now, according to Xavi, that Cabrasi is ahead of Micalfe in the pecking order. So keep your eyes on that squad list for the Athletic Club game. We'll see who's in it, who's out. Cabrasi could definitely come on as a stub, and hell, could even maybe start the game. And the final player is, of course, Hector Fort, who again, along with Cabrasi, is impressing a lot at Barcelona. Mundo Deportivo come out saying that Barcelona are very satisfied with the evolution of Hector Font, 17 years old, and if he maintains his progression, everything indicates that he can be seen under Xavi's orders soon. Could his injury and ball discomfort can open up the door for him? He has been a starter for Barca Athletic in all of the 7 games. His performances have been one of the most positive things for Barca Athletic this season. The club has great hopes that he can consolidate himself in the first team in the future. Again, Hector Fort is a right back, so Cancelo coming back from international break could be tired. We're going to need some numbers there. You could say Hector Fort is Julian Araujo's competition right now for next season as well. So the club do have an abundance of options in a fullback. I don't think we really have to dabble into the market too much. And again, we do have some decent options to come in and replace the ones that are currently injured, fatigued, whatever the case may be. But again, they're big games. Athletic Club, Shakhtar, and the Clasico. The club have to be very cautious, along with Xavi as well, to make sure they bet on these youngsters who probably will make mistakes. But again, mistakes is what makes them better. But again, very interesting time ahead, and we'll wait and see what Xavi decides. Let's now discuss some injury updates around the first team at Barcelona. Of course, a lot to get through. The first updates we do have is on Rafinha and Lewandowski mainly. Now, this is coming in firstly from Franco Rasmus Sport on Rafinha. He's come out saying that Rafinha's recovery is going well and he could have minutes in the Champions League against Shakhtar Donetsk, but he will not play against Athletic Club. For Lewandowski, it's not completely ruled out for the Clasico yet. He has declared already that the recovery is going better than expected, but also, again, for the millionth time, no risk will be taken. Having Gil from AS came out saying that the chance for Lewandowski to play in the Clasico are increasing. There is moderate optimism now. The sensations recovery have been very good recently, and he hardly feels any discomfort in his injured ankle. Right now, I think currently stand, everything indicates that Lewandowski, Pedri, and Rafinha will be given the green light for the Clasico, and Frankie de Jong and Koundé 100% will not make the Clasico. So again, Pedri, Rafinha, Lewandowski getting the green light for the Clasico does not mean they will start. That means they will have the medical clearance. They could probably be on the bench. Maybe one of them will start, but again, they will not be full match fitness, so to speak, but they will have that medical approval. Now, more updates. Firstly, let's just stay on Rafinha quickly. He was, out and about in Barcelona. He was asked on his El Clasico participation. He said, right now, I don't know yet, but I do want to be there. So good ambition from him. He also asked about Messi, Ronaldo. No one cares about that nowadays. But on the Clasico, he said that, look, I don't know yet, but I do plan on being there, and I want to be there as well. Great optimism, that, of course, from the Brazilian winger. Next update is on Pedri. Now, Pedri right now is the most advanced player to return to Barcelona. First team, of course. Fernando Polo from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Pedri right now is in the final stretch of his recovery. The coaches forecast that he will be able to join the group at some point this week. The intention that he carries out, the intention is that he can play. The intention is that he can get some minutes against Athletic Club or Shakhtar and then start against Real Madrid. But our friend Martinez is saying that Barcelona will be very careful with Pedri. He's available against Bilbao. It's still uncertain, and the most likely scenario right now is that he will start on the bench in the Clásico. So a lot of chopping and changing between the journalists. I think what's clear right now is that Pedri, at some point this week, he's going to play. The question is when. If he comes off the bench against Athletic Club on Sunday, I think he'll start the Clásico. You cannot tell me he comes off the bench against Bilbao, probably comes off the bench against Shakhtar, and he can't start the Clásico. Again, that's probably 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes off the bench for Bilbao, half an hour off the bench for Shakhtar. Give him an hour against Real Madrid. Probably won't play the full 90 against Real Madrid, but he can at least play the hour for sure. But that's the forecast. We'll wait and see how things develop on that sense. But at this point, I've already given up. I wouldn't risk anyone at this point, but we'll wait and see again how the development is and also what Xavi decides. Because Xavi could end up risking them, saying, hey, get those painkillers out and get on the pitch. I don't care if you get injured for another month. We need you in this game. Now, for injuries that are not too serious, first up, of course, is Alejandro Balde, and it has been confirmed he has had some discomfort out on Spain international duty. He did not play, of course, yesterday against Norway. Xavi and Ferran did play that game. They both came off around the 70th minute. Xavi scored a goal as well, so Xavi is doing absolutely exceptionally well at the moment. With Balde, the club did confirm the test carried out that Alejandro Balde suffers from discomfort in his abductors. He's out for now, and the evaluation of his discomfort will mark his availability. And according to Javi Miguel from AES, he will be out for around 10 to 12 days, and there will be no tear. Now, again, his availability in the Bilbao match is still up in the air. A lot of people saying that he'll be on the bench. A lot of people saying that he'll be out of that match completely. Best case scenario, he'll be on the bench for Athletic Club. Worst case scenario, he'll start against Shakhtar midweek in the Champions League. We are hearing that Marcos Alonso very, very likely will start the match against Athletic Club. Pray for us on that game. But no Nico Williams, which is a good thing. I think Nico Williams is injured as well, so Alonso won't have to deal with the pace of Nico Williams. But again, Balde he will 100% be fit for the Clásico, just when he will return. Will he come off the bench against Shakhtar, start the game? Will he be on the bench for Bilbao? Will he come off the bench? That's what the questions are there. And finally, Lamine Yamal, of course, who had that same injury at the beginning of the international break, and Mundo Deportivo are reporting that Lamine Yamal will be available for the game against Bilbao, which is a good thing, because again, we have no forwards. We only have Joao Felix and Ferran Torres. So if Lamine Yamal can't start, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. We really don't. We couldn't even see Pau Victor start a game. I have absolutely no idea. But again, with Lamine Yamal, he's still 16. You don't want to take any risks. I would be shocked if he starts the game. I think he'll definitely be in the squad list, probably come off the bench. But whether he starts or not remains to be seen. So those are the updates. So again, Lewandowski, Pedri, Rafinha, Balde, Lamine Yamal should be in the El Clasico squad list. Koundé and De Jong 100% rolled out. Again, De Jong's getting his boot off this week, so we'll see how things develop. Xavi could put some painkillers in him and start him in the Clásico, but very, very unlikely. In terms of starting the Clásico, I think Lamine Yamal definitely could. Balde definitely could. Pedri, Lewandowski, Rafinha is where those question marks come in. And the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is some of the news around Barcelona as a club over the past few days. Firstly, on the Golden Boy Award, where we do have two nominees in Lamine Yamal, who was a surprise nominee, and Alejandro Balde. Pedri and Xavi were options, but since they already won the Golden Boy Award as per the rules, they can no longer win the award again. That's why they weren't nominated. So right now the favorites are Alejandro Balde and Jude Bellingham alongside Jamal Musiala. I think last season Balde definitely 100 billion% had the better season out of the three. Whether he's the better player or not on paper is different to judge. Two advanced players in Bellingham, Musiala, who get goals and assists every single game, where Balde, he's, a defensive player. But I think based on performance last season, Balde 100%. I think his best game was better than Musiala and Bellingham's best game, and also he was the most consistent as well. But we'll wait to see things develop in that sense. And again, the announcement will be coming at some point in November. Other news, we do have some news on our agent fees. So according to reports, Barcelona paid the agent commission of around 11.6 million euros, almost 4 times more than a year earlier. This is partly due, of course, to the fact that most players arrive on a free transfer. So Gundogan coming in for free. You had, of course, other free transfers over the past year or so. And from those free transfers, we paid around 11.6 in player bonuses, of course, signing on bonus for choosing Barcelona, and commission for their agents for, of course, making the deal a reality as well. So in retrospect, we definitely paid under the evaluation of all the free agents that we did end up signing, but, it's no mean feat whatsoever. You have the likes of, Inigo Martinez, Gundogan, Christensen, Franck, Kessié. Those 4 players combined market value is definitely over 100 million. I'd say Gundogan is probably 50, Christensen was 40, Kessié was probably 40, 50 at the time. Inigo Martinez probably could say it was like 10 or 20. So paying less than 12, I think, is still a very, very good deal. Next up, of course, to combat the agent fees that we played, Barcelona, of course, needs to raise some money, and the best way is through a friendly game, and it's a very likely chance there will be a friendly game at some point in December. Candace have come out saying that Barcelona completed negotiations to play a match in the United States against a Mexican team at the end of December. The club's economic needs to force all efforts to generate income. The negotiations have been going on for days now. If I'm not mistaken, Barcelona's last game before the Christmas break is around December the 20th, because of course Christmas is on the weekend. I don't have the calendar on me right now, but I remember seeing it. So we have a weekend game. I think it's Valencia that we played midweek at home against Almeria. That's our final game. It'll be like on the 19th, 20th, 21st, which is my birthday. So maybe they might play on my birthday. But I think what will happen is that we're going to ask the Liga to play earlier in the week, travel to the USA to play a game probably Thursday or Friday, and then Barcelona players will be back by Saturday, Christmas on Sunday. Saturday is Christmas Eve as well. So I think they try to really squeeze it and push it. It's going to be hectic for the players, but game is game. We got to make some money, and you guys are getting paid well, so you gotta make do what you gotta make do. But of course, final avenue where Barcelona can make some money is of course through the TV rights and commission, and of course more specifically our sleeve sponsor. Now, Fernando Polo from Deportivo came out saying the relationship between Barcelona and Philips Amblitz TV will see an important boost in the coming weeks in different places, shops, and platforms where Amblitz TV televises are sold. A video of Barcelona will be shown to the customers from November onwards. The video which will be shown was shot during the 4-2 win over Spurs in the Joan Gamper Trophy, along with visuals from the match. Images of the city of Barcelona will also be shown to the customers. The sponsor will also have a lot of presence in the new Spotify Camp Nou, since it will be a provider of screens and digital signs at the stadium once its reconstructing is finished. We're expecting that Ambulant TV sleeve sponsor income revenue to be kicking in very, very soon, with them broadcasting a little ad for Barcelona on their television broadcasting over the next few weeks starting in November. So again, money's coming in, which is good, and again, we're going to invest that hopefully into the squad. So everything's all good right now. We're lowering the debt, wage bill's looking good, we're looking a bit healthier, and hopefully in the next year or two we'll be free of all these economic restrictions. I'm not saying we're going to be debt free, of course, that's not going to be the case, but you know, we don't have to worry about FFP and all this stuff in the next year or so. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past few days. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. But the main thing I want to first, of course, is your thoughts on the transfer targets that Barcelona have set out. They want 2 fullbacks. Would you bet in-house? Would you go in the transfer market? On the interior, who would you be priority? Wirtz, Dani, Olmo, Guimaraes. In the pivot, who would you want? Zubimendi, Joshua Kimmich, Thiago Alcantara, Marscado, Vermeeren. What would your options be there? Nextly, your thoughts on Sergi Roberto's exit at the end of the season, and what are your thoughts on it? Where would you consider Roberto? Would you consider him an icon of Barcelona or a legend? Your thoughts, of course, on those youngsters breaking to the first team right now: Julian Araujo, Alex Xavi, Cabrasi, Hector Fort. Your thoughts on the injury concerns as well. Who would you risk in the Clasico? Would you risk Frankie de Jong, get him on those painkillers? Would you start the likes of Lewandowski and Rafinha and Pedri just coming back from their injury? And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.
Yeah.